Well, my name is Steve Littman. I've been making video art since 1977. I really enjoy the medium of video. It's very fun, it's exciting. My present job is that I work for the University for the Creative Arts at Farnham, and I'm the course leader for animation, digital film and screen arts, which is more experimental, but we also do narrative, computer games, interactive installation, multi-screen work, documentaries, and CGI, all that type of weirdo stuff. Overseen, overheard, overlooked is a multi-screen piece. It has many possibilities. It was never conceived as just a video wall idea. There was performances and then there were objects. I had a BBC Micro in the first showing in transmission, which printed out paper all day long, and on that paper were all the people that actually came through the gallery, making a big pile of paper. In this context, it wouldn't have been the right sort of use of the technology to add all those elements, because there are other people's work on the walls. But in its original form, there was about 8 performers all taking different roles. We wore dark trousers, white shirts, and we walked around the gallery space talking to punters about what they thought data was and about the way that people thought surveillance worked. And since that time, in the middle 80s, surveillance cameras have appeared everywhere in the street. And when I look at the piece, it's so interesting that we were stating what was going to happen to the world over a 20-year period. So when I look at the work, I think, were we really saying this in 1985 and 1984 and 1986 and 1987? All these statements about internet traffic, Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, all that seems to be part of this work, but not actually talked about. It's embedded in some sort of back narrative. So when you look at the images, it actually looks as fresh as it was in the 80s. In fact, it's more relevant now than it was in the 80s, maybe. And I think that's quite an interesting view on it. The video wall technology had been around a few years. And because in my earlier lives as an artist, I was a director. I was doing corporate videos. And one of my jobs was to make projects for either video projection on what we call a GE valve video projector, which weighed about 1.5 tons, massive machine, way massive thing. Or you'd have a Barco video projector, very expensive toys and very troublesome to set up. An engineer would spend hours trying to get the colours to be all the right and everything to be registered. But a video wall came out in about, I suppose, 84, 85, the electronic version, and they were very expensive. I mean, they were £100,000 to have 16 screens. Again, they were very delicate pieces of technology, pushing the boundaries of expanding pictures across 20 or 30 screens and making really big pictures. But the reason why they were doing that on televisions was that the brightness of the video tube, the CRT, the cathode ray tube, meant that they could actually have it in daylight. And because it could be shown in daylight, people could actually make very big pictures across a very simple technology. And it was very interesting that transmission used was it the rediffusion, or what was the people that we used? I think it was rediffusion. It was something like
ravages.
Yeah, yeah. And they set up a pseudo video wall which we could use to make multiple juxtaposition images. There wasn't one big image on it, but we had lots of everything running in sync. And we used a video tape deck called a U-matic deck, which was this big, this high, this wide, and you had to be a weightlifter to lift it, you know, basically very heavy. Whereas a video deck, a DV deck is, well, you pick up with one hand and it's really easy to use. You put the disc in and it plays, you know. But these tape machines they needed to rewind. It took 6 minutes to rewind the tape from an hour's tape. So it was quite some thing. I think the piece in 86 or 85 was about 50 minutes long, and that was on about 5 or 6 channels, so slightly different to the 4-channel version that we're running today.